Messi is officially a soccer player. So yeah, this is a weird one. As you can tell, the setup is quite a bit different. We're outside. I'm just kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of rant it out, you know. Obviously, I'm sure you can tell what we're talking about. It's what everyone's been talking about lately. And so I don't know. I just had to give my thoughts on it. I at least hope that my perspective for some of you guys being an American soccer fan, you know, hopefully that'll be a little bit different to what you guys might have been hearing, you know. I've been watching this game for over 10 years, you know, at this point I would consider myself basically a lifelong fan. At 22 years old, I spent half my life as a soccer fan. And I feel like I can at least give a little bit of a different perspective to what the mainstream football media is kind of talking about right now. So I don't know, I really just wanted to shoot the shit as an American, kind of give my perspective on everything that's going on, because this is definitely a landscape shaking transfer for sure. So honestly, my initial reaction was sadness, which, you know, it might sound a little odd, but growing up as a fan of Messi, watching the great Barca teams over the years, it stings a little to know that that era is fully over and that European football has lost its greatest ever player, you know. And just after losing Ronaldo earlier this season as well, like it's wild to think that that whole era, you know, it's over. It's over. It's crazy because that was such a huge part of what got me into the game in the first place, you know, the Messi and Ronaldo debate, tuning in every weekend to see which one of them was going to score a hat trick, if not both. I'm gonna miss it. I feel so blessed and so grateful to have been able to witness that era. And so my initial reaction, yeah, was like nostalgia and sadness, you know, just knowing that the era that I grew up in, my childhood is over, you know. It was kind of a tough realization. But once that all started to wear off, you know, there was a couple things. So first of all, I started to really feel happy for Messi, you know, especially once I saw that interview. He was clearly mentally, he's been going through a lot recently, you know, everything that happened between him and Barcelona, you know, the things at PSG clearly didn't really work out. And, you know, that emotional roller coaster, you know, going from being such a hero, a World Cup winner, Argentinian hero, back to like an outcast at PSG, I think that really did start to weigh on him. Obviously, I don't know the guy, I'm just assuming, but it feels like that really started to weigh on him personally. And at his age, he doesn't need this drama, bro. Like, imagine beefing it with like a 22, 23-year-old in your mid-30s. Like, that's essentially what's going on between him and Mbappe at this time. Not to say that they're beefing, but like going through drama with someone that you're 10 years, 15 years older than. Like, he just doesn't need this at this point in his career. And I 100% think it was the right move to leave PSG. It stings a little that, you know, he's leaving what is ultimately more competitive years on the table and foregoing that to take a more drama-free, stress-free route, but that's his choice, that's his prerogative. I can't take that away from him, and he's done more than enough to earn that right to make that decision. And so, you know, at first, yes, it was sadness, but that was more selfish from me, how I felt about it, thinking about it from his perspective, which is more important in the situation. It's his life. You know, I could totally understand it, and more power to him. I'm very happy that he's able to make a move like this at this point in his career. Now, the other thing that I was really I can't fully wrap my head around is how this is going to impact Major League Soccer and soccer in the United States in general. Because this is definitely, you know, I keep saying this is different because it feels different. It feels like this is a transfer that is going to shift the landscape of how the MLS is viewed. At least that's what I'm hoping. You know, we've been known as a retirement league and not super serious, not super competitive. But if the players that we're bringing in as a retirement league is Leo Messi, who's still putting up elite numbers at Paris Saint-Germain, like, I think that's absolutely, like, it's not Higuain, you know what I mean? It's not that type of a transfer. This is still a top level player. It's not prime Messi, but this is an elite level player. And so that is definitely going to change the landscape of how the league is viewed for sure. What I hope is that there's more of a long-term impact. You know, I think that the perception is still going to be there due to Messi's age, you know, the whole retirement league thing. That's still going to be a thought in people's mind. And so I think for the MLS to use the clout and the finance and everything that's going to come with having a player like Messi in your league to their advantage. and they need to bolster their youth academy programs. They need to invest more in youth soccer in the States, and they need to start making more serious transfers for players that are on the right side of 30. You know, I want to see more of these Ricky Puig style signings where, you know, they're still young players with something to prove, and they can use this league as their proving grounds. They come here and they show that they've still got the talent to perform at the top level, and I'm sure we're going to see Ricky being sold back to Europe sooner than later, and I think more power to him. That's what I want this league to start to be used for, because that will still continue to raise the average level of competition, continue to get younger players in here, and just use this as a status grower. You know, this needs to be something that elevates the status of Major League Soccer. I hope that this doesn't end up just being a headline. That's the biggest conclusion that I've come to with all of this, is I don't want this to just be a headline. I hope that the league really continues to build on this. So going into the on-the-pitch side of things, I think that's so much more of an unknown. You know, with Messi being at his age, he's proven everything he needs to prove. Like, there's obviously a huge possibility that he could come in, hardly play any games, you know, really just use this to stay fit, play Copa America next season, and then ride off into the sunset. And we'll never really see a whole lot of Messi in the U.S., which, you know, I really hope that's not the case. I hope that he takes this opportunity to empower the league and build up this league and put some eyes on a league that's really been developing strong over the last few years. You know, we've been having a lot of transfers come out of the MLS, going over to Europe over the last few years, a lot more relative to previous MLS, I should say. Of course, we're not on the level of other developmental leagues in Europe, but, you know, we're getting there. We're pushing on. Our national team has been improving. And so with all of these strides going in the right direction, you know, hosting a World Cup in 2026, I just really hope that all of these factors end up putting the spotlight on the game in America. You know, we've got so many people here. We're one of the biggest countries in the world. We should be an elite footballing country. And I think, fingers crossed, this could be something that helps us take a couple strides towards that, a couple big strides. I guess the final thing that I wanted to touch on with all of this was, you know, it's a little corny, but I wanted to say thank you. You know, it's not like he's ever gonna see this video, more than likely, but of course I feel compelled as someone, for someone who had such a massive impact on me growing up, someone who is such a huge part of the reason of why I'm in front of this camera talking to whoever it is that's out there listening right now. You know, he is such a huge reason why I'm a fan of this game the way that I am. All of the moments, you know, I can relive them for hours. You know, my friends and I will go and talk about his great goals at Barcelona, you know, the Champions League against Bayern. My best friend and I were watching that huddled over our phones like this at our lunch break in high school. I think we were sophomores in high school. And, you know, just those type of moments, like, that stuff is priceless. You know, being young kids, like, he gave us something to believe in, something to care about. And, you know, he beat the odds every time, all the way up until recently. You know, he finally climbed the final mountain. You know, what a storybook career. What a player. Like, I hope I'm wrong, but you just feel like there won't be another one like him. You know, he's so special, so unique. And thank you. Thank you, Messi, for all of the great memories. And I hope you enjoy your time out here in the U.S., you know. And here's to hoping that this is something that elevates the beautiful game in my home country, you know. This is it, you know. This could be a huge turning point in the history of soccer in this country. Jesus, wow. Yeah. Messi is officially a soccer player. Oh, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.